What is going on, YouTube? What is going on, Kansas City? And what is going on, everybody? And welcome to the Beat of KC. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lucas Murphy, and if you are a Kansas Jayhawk fan, I promise you will want to tune into this video. We're going to dive in. We're going to talk about the Kansas Jayhawks Week 0 win. We're going to talk about the upcoming opponent in Wagner coming to the David Booth Memorial Stadium, the newly renovated David Booth Memorial Stadium. And we're going to dive in and talk about some things that we probably should look at, pay attention to as we head into this game. So obviously, the Week 1 matchup will be against the Wagner Seahawks. That'll be on August 29th, 2025. That is coming off a fresh, dominant win against the Fresno State Bulldogs, 31-7. And obviously, the Jayhawks are looking to keep that momentum rolling. We saw a lot of positive things from the offense, from the defense, and really even from special teams. So super excited for the opportunity to have Wagner come in, an FCS school, and this will be their first game of the season. They will be kicking it off. They're coming from the Northeast Conference, and this will be their first game in 2025. Again, this is the first time these two teams will ever meet, and so it'll be interesting to kind of see what the Wagner Seahawks can provide. Kansas is the heavy favorite, and that's expected. I mean, you're obviously talking about an FCS school versus a Big 12 school, so obviously they're going to be the heavy favorite. It's a chance for Kansas to really fine-tune their skills, to really kind of give the offense some good opportunity to build confidence, to give this defense the opportunity to really build confidence as they get ready to head into a Week 2 matchup against our rivals, the Missouri Tigers. The Border War is back, ladies and gentlemen. So excited to see that game September 6th, but we don't want to get too far ahead. We really want to kind of identify some areas in this game where we can improve and really kind of get things in a well-organized fashion as we get ready to head to that Missouri Tigers game. So we're going to talk quickly about Week 0. And just a recap, because I think it really kind of builds momentum as we head into this game. So Kansas opened with a statement. They crushed Fresno State, and the score obviously was 31-7, but I don't think that truly reflects to what the score could have been. It was in front of a sold-out crowd of roughly 41,525 fans, and that's incredible. You know, the booth opened up. It was brand new. The feel, the vibes, everything were there. It was incredible. They look to sharpen both sides of the ball against Wagner, as it's a chance for them to really kind of establish and dominate. We were missing some players on the offensive side of the football, as we were missing some guys on the defensive side of the football, and really some significant leaders on the defensive side of the football. So this game potentially with Wagner, and really it's expected to be a blowout. And it should give opportunities for younger guys to step in and see what, some younger Jayhawks have to offer. We did get to see a few guys towards the end of the Fresno State game, but I think there's a good chance you'll see a lot more of those guys playing this game. Oh, Wagner's background. They are an FCS team. They're from the Northeast Conference, as I mentioned. They're coming off a 4-8 season in 2024 with a 2-4 record in conference play. They did struggle against FBS teams last year, losing 41-10 to FAU and to 35-7 to UMass. So we can kind of see just a little bit of a comparison to when they actually played FBS teams. Wagner averaged just 19.3 points per game last season. That's one of the lowest in the FCS. And their passing game was the weakest in NCAA football, with only 112 passing yards against AAC teams, and that was with a minimum of 30 attempts. So some players to really watch from their team. Linebacker Jordan Johnson, he's a senior linebacker, 51 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 2 sacks last season. He is a leader on their defense and one of the 4 Seahawks on the 2025 All-NEC preseason team. Another player to identify for the Seahawks is receiver Tyree McDonald. And also a few others are offensive lineman Brady Anderson, defensive lineman Logan Barnes. These were all NEC players who could make an impact, but they'll need a near miracle to slow, I believe, this Kansas offense. Wagner will likely rely on their defense to keep the game respectable early, but their offense lacks the firepower, like we just talked about, to keep up with this Kansas offense. Look for them to try some deep passes to open up the field, as their run game will struggle against the Kansas stout front. And we really saw what this defensive front was able to do against the Fresno State Bulldogs. After that first drive, Fresno obviously kind of was clicking. They were driving down the field and they scored a touchdown. After that, ladies and gentlemen, it was zeros after that. And I think that's because this defense was able to finally go against an opponent. They were able to knock the rust off. They were able to start communicating, and it started to feel more comfortable. It started to feel more real for these guys. And so I really think that they were able to step up and do what they needed to do. So some key players to watch for Kansas. And again, obviously expect if the Jayhawks get up early, some of these guys will probably not play as much. Jalen Daniels was nearly perfect against Fresno State, going 18 for 20, 176 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, plus he rushed for 47 yards. He looked like the star in midseason form. And the big question is can he stay healthy? We were able to see him kind of run the football. They were running some options. He did take a few licks. And so the biggest thing with Jalen Daniels through this season is staying healthy, ladies and gentlemen. No matter when I do a video on the Jayhawks, at some point I'm sure that'll be brought up, because that's the most valuable piece with Jalen Daniels as the quarterback. When he is healthy, he's on the field, he's producing, he's doing what he's supposed to do. We saw all the previous accolades that he could have potentially got, but injury obviously affected him in some areas. The next one was Cam Pickett, ladies and gentlemen. We saw what Cam Pickett was able to do in just one game for the Jayhawks. He had a breakout. He had 6 receptions, for 77 yards, 2 touchdowns, and it was just incredible to see. So I'm really going to keep an eye again on Cam Pickett. How is he going to contribute for this offense? And then obviously there's a few running backs we're going to identify. Daniel Highshaw obviously is just a beast. The guy can absolutely just motor downhill, runs with some energy, and he ran for 68 yards on 13 carries. Now another one is LaShawn Williams. He did leave the game with an injury. It looked like a wrist. It maybe had been a hand injury, so he's one that I really want to kind of pay attention to. He did add 57 yards and a touchdown for this Kansas running game, but he could potentially be a dominating force against this Wagner front. Now, defensive standouts, and man, ladies and gentlemen, we got a special talent in Bengali Kamara. I'm super excited to see him continue to evolve in this defense. We saw what he was able to do against Fresno State. He had a huge sack. The ball popped out, and he's just a force. And so obviously the rotation and how this defensive front works, he's really going to have the opportunity to step up as this year continues to progress. Now, some other guys that I think people need to kind of pay attention to, and that's young quarterback Isaiah Marshall. We saw just a glimpse, ladies and gentlemen, of the burst, the speed, and the opportunities that Isaiah Marshall can bring this offense. I mean, it was just a glimpse, and the reaction on social media, the reaction really kind of in the broadcast was just shock and awe. And I think that's because we have another quarterback that is in the pipeline that is ready to go. He is a redshirt freshman, dual threat. We didn't actually get to see him throw the football, but he had that 13-yard run against Fresno State, and it was just significant. Now, another one to pay attention to, and he really had a good impact in this game, was defensive end Leroy Harris. Holy smokes, ladies and gentlemen, that's a big individual. He can move, he has a motor, and he was able to really wreck the backfield of Fresno State. And that's obviously with the potential of Miller being out, Dean Miller being out again. We just don't know really what to expect with his injury. I think it's going to be more of a precautionary thing with him, and so I would expect Leroy Harris to really step up. And the final one that I'm going to kind of pay attention to is safety Mason Ellis. He's now looking to really make an impact. And so I really think that Ellis is going to have an opportunity to really kind of step up, and we're going to see him really make opportunities from what he's able to do. So I'm excited to see Mason Ellis. So I do believe that Kansas will win this football game. I do think it'll be a significant win. I am excited to really kind of see how this game progresses. As the Jayhawks get up, at what point are we going to start to see some of this younger talent come in and really make a difference as we again start to prepare for one of the biggest games, I really think, on the schedule. I think going into Columbia against a Missouri Tigers football team, it's just a huge rivalry. It's a thing that Kansas and Missouri have had for years and years. It obviously went away for a period of time, and now that that's kind of being brought back, I can really sense the energy here locally, and I think obviously you're going to kind of see it a little bit on big media streams and things like that. They're going to hype this game up. So I do believe that the Jayhawks will win. My prediction is going to be 48-10. That's where I'm going. I do think that that's honestly going to be a good score for the Jayhawks, building momentum and things like that. So I appreciate you all checking out this video. As always, make sure you guys comment down below. Let me know what you guys think the score will be. Let me know who you're looking forward to playing in this game. And I really appreciate the support as always. Make sure you guys smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and I end every video the exact same way. Have a good day.